the energy that you guys do in your gigs, because it is like getting on a roller coaster. It's non-stop from start to finish, isn't it?
It's just good fun, good old-fashioned fun. That's all it's meant to be, really. When I'm writing songs, I think, certainly at the time when I was doing like nice t-shirts, like let's just make something that's like really fun and epic live, and everyone can have a good time. We'll do a big woo on the chorus,
Yeah, and do you find people are joining in now because they're really getting to know your songs?
Yeah, I think, especially when we play on like the Isle of Man, people know us more over here, and like we're playing like Empty Swimming Pool or something, like we've played it like twice because we'll do it like first and last or something because everyone will just scream that chorus at us. But then as we bring out the other stuff, it is cool to see people singing the words, even in the UK, especially with a song like that where it's got like woos and oohs, people kind of like try to catch on. It's pretty cool.
That is amazing. And you've been gigging with other groups in the UK and other artists in the UK as well, haven't you? So
Yes.
do you like that experience, sort of like sharing a bill with people like that?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's pretty much like super necessary as well because they bring their crowds and we need to get in front of them, and that's pretty much the whole point of the shared bills. Your headliner wants support so they can shift even more tickets, and other supports want the headliners people, and you're kind of sharing people, aren't you?
It's true. And do you sort of contact them, or do they contact you, or how does that work?
It can go either way. A promoter in Manchester, Scotland or London or whatever might get in touch with us sometimes because they just happen upon us and they like the sound. Like we had a guy from Sheffield who runs the Lead Mill get in touch, and he was like, I want to grow you in Sheffield. If I find the right thing, I'll get in touch and stuff, which is cool.
The
But
Lead Mill's like one of the best venues in the history of UK
I see
music.
some of these cool bands playing there, so that'd be great if he got us something with one of those bands who do play there. But that's usually what happens. Just somebody gets in touch, or we have tried to get in touch. Sometimes you have to apply for things, and cross your fingers and toes.
Yeah.
But funnily enough, we've never actually gotten a gig across by formally asking a band. And that's not true, actually. I have a friend in a band called the Coversets who like helps produce our music. So he did Empty Swimming Pool. And long story short, how we got connected, but I did end up saying, can we play with you guys, please? And they're pretty big because they sell out like 300 capacity shows up and down the country.
Wow.
So that was nice.
Oh, I can imagine. How does it work logistically, though? Sort of getting all of you together, the four of you together, all the kit and everything, and getting it to each of these venues. How do you do it?
Well, it ain't cheap, Christy.
That's what I was thinking.
You've got to pay for the boat, you got to pay for the hotel, and other bands can provide amps and stuff, or you might bring your own. So that's usually the case. We have had to bring our own in the past. We've got a van, but that's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
If you really want it, you've got to do it because
Yeah.
it's not viable to maybe go on a week tour sometimes. I don't think we should play in a place in London on a Tuesday night on our tour. We've paid for everything and not with a promoter or something. So we have to go to these like kind of select shows and just pray we get something out of it.
You've got to be a bit savvy, really, haven't you, about it?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much business involved. I keep learning that more and more, and the industry just keeps shrinking. Everyone knows each other.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. And so what about the difference then in playing to, you're talking about playing to Manx crowds and playing to crowds off island. Is it quite hard to win them over?
I think every gig can be so varied. Like you might be the opening act, and that typically on a bill of three, which is what we normally do, and most gigs in the UK usually, it might be a bit empty. So you might not win them over. They're not drunk yet either, and they're feeling a bit too awkward to dance. The room's not filled up yet.
And you are all about getting people moving, aren't you?
Yeah. So sometimes that might happen, but then again, generally speaking, I think the crowds over there know most bands for just, if you're a band, you're probably going to be doing your own music. As I know there's a huge cover scene over here, obviously, and most of the gigs are made up of cover shows.
Mm-hmm.
I think even we play covers to fund the band on the weekend over here. But I think across, they know when they're seeing you, they're all game for it. They're there as music fans at a music show. So I think they're pretty cool, but the people here are pretty cool too.
Yeah, it's a different thing, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's a whole different ball game.